Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today, with us, Angel Rivo, CEO, consultant, TV host, international public speaker, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, is co hosting again with our dear and wonderful Sunny Chayes. Sunny is not only the host of this show, but also the host of ABC Solutionary Sundays. She is the featured writer and chief strategist for Whole Life Times, the longest running conscious life magazine in America. Sonny is also a producer, moderator, and mythbuster. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia's mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing it with someone that you know that is going to benefit of the content that we're going to be talking here today. Also, while we are live streaming, we want to remind you that we have the active chat. It's a great tool for you to interact with us. We just please ask you to follow the format, word question in caps, and the actual question in relation with the conference that we're going to be having here today. The active chat, it's going to be seen on the side of the screen if you are on a computer, or under the video in case that you're following us from a smartphone. We also want you to collaborate with Mindalia with your own valuable content. And for that, you can go to our website. On the top, you're going to find a link that says Collaborate with Mindalia. That link is going to take you to a form that you can fill out for our technical team to be getting in contact with you. You can collaborate with Mindalia in 3 languages. You can do it in English, as you already know, Spanish through Mindalia Televisión, and Portuguese through Mindalia Televisão. We are broadcasting daily information as beautiful and as interesting as the one that you are already used to see in Mindalia TV. We are not going to delay this any further, and we are going to leave you with Angel, with Sonny, and a very special guest that is going to be joining us today. Guys, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mirna, for the introduction. And welcome back, Sunny. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Happy New Year. Feliz Nuevo. How do I say it? Feliz Nuevo.
Feliz, you're close. There's only one word missing in the middle. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Oh, of course. Feliz Año Nuevo. Indeed, indeed. And we are really hoping for that. And by the way, I want to correct one thing that I did not mention last week, which is that when I was talking about our Solo Amor Capitol Hill and talking about what they were bringing forward, I didn't even mention that they were bringing forward, of course, bringing back our government. That was the first thing Nancy Pelosi was going to be doing. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite happened yet, but that was on her agenda, and I did not mention that. So we will keep our prayers and our thoughts and everything sort of directed on that one. That's our goal every day until that happens. Yes.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously so much going on, and we were completely focused on making sure that at that point in time, this love intention was going to reach these people. There were so many families. There were, it was a very nice scene to see so much love, so much energy, so much high vibration. And from that place, I'm sure that our incredible guest today is nodding. Obviously, we imagine, Sunny, that all the most important political forums in the world were in such a high level of vibration, and we were dealing with all the issues that the planet and our civilization is going through, were dealt from that place of vibration. Imagine the difference. Imagine the difference. So it was funny because Sunny and I were texting that very same day after our love intention, and all the things that we were talking about and we were saying here actually were the words that were later being used without us knowing, were being used literally by Nancy Pelosi and other people. So.
And the music that we were doing here and all the different things, and then they ended up singing in the, on the floor. I mean, people said who were there, like Kamala Harris said it was like Woodstock. So, we just keep that. And I'm so excited about the idea that we have about having a word to use every month. So we, of course, have this word this month, dignity, and our guest is all about that. And I just look at how we can deal with the dignity of our human beings. You know, one interesting thing that I did since I saw you was I went to the Ronald Reagan Library here in Los Angeles, and Ronald Reagan was insisting on the wall coming down, you know, with Gorbachev. And there's actually part of the wall there. It was kind of haunting and kind of very, very cool. And I thought, so here's one Republican president insisting that a wall come down and another one insisting one go up. So I just found that curious, I'll say. So the creativity goes on, the imagination goes on, the opportunities go on for us as these challenges we face. So here we are to talk about how we can use our imagination, our creativity, and our love, and our stuff, our energy to make stuff happen, create new stuff.
Exactly. People tend to forget. I think that should be like the first day you go to any kindergarten, any care, every single child should be taught this lesson. And I think that everybody would understand it. Guys, you know, kids, we are 0.00001% matter and 99.9999% energy. And we only see with these eyes, we only see, most of us, not everybody, this 0.0001%. So imagine the power of the human being. Imagine that we taught this lesson, this very unique lesson, only this lesson to every single kid on the planet. And telling them, you are infinitely powerful, you are unstoppable. With this energy, you can do anything. You know, so that's why, you know, neuroscientists and quantum physicists are so important today, because they're just bringing something which is obvious, right? It's obvious, and we can do so much with that energy, so much. That's why, actually, you know, the incredible human being that we're bringing today to the show, with her energy and with all the energy that she's able to gather, she's actually organizing an amazing initiative that's going to have, it's already having a worldwide effect and impact. So energy, vibration, change.
Yay! Well, I want to do a little bit of an introduction for Mynoo, my dear friend, and so I'm just going to tell you guys that she was a I took some words from her stuff because it's just so cool. She was a high-flying executive and pragmatic serial entrepreneur. What a sentence is that? She then experienced a series of spiritual awakenings and connected with the true mission of her soul. And through periods of silence, profound wisdom came to her about restoring miracles. And Mynoo, so then that became her jam, as we say, all about miracles. And she is now the founder and visionary of the Poem Foundation, which stands for Palace of Extraordinary Miracles. She wrote a beautiful book that I have somewhere. I think I lent it to someone today or in the last week, called The Bee Book, which is all about being, literally. And then about a year, probably 2 years ago, she had a real calling to start a movement and perhaps have it be a happening. You know, it was all sort of, what is this going to be? But really all around world dignity. So she started the process of creating the World Dignity Forum, as I say, maybe 2 years ago. And yay, it's finally happening here in LA, February 8th through 10th. So, you know, again, having the creativity, the desire to do something, then seeing the need in the world and then stepping into it. Like we have learned so much from some wise people, when we're frustrated in the world and we don't see what we want, it may mean that we are the ones that are meant to create it. So our darling Mynoo Maryel is now joining us, and we shall chat all about dignity and anything else she wants to talk about. So welcome, Mynoo.
Mynoo, welcome to Mindalia TV.
Thank you. Well, I would love to begin by saying, welcome to 2019. Wishing all of us a very happy new year. And we talked about vibration. Every year has a unique vibration. And 2019, the vibration is one of germination and blossoming. So, just like when a seed, starts to germinate, there is a huge presence of life force. And there is a huge amount of effort that is required because it is a complete change of state. So you can imagine each one of us as human beings and the planet itself in terms of the vibration that the planet is experiencing, we are in this space of germination. So there is huge surge of life force and it's up to us to really allow ourselves to work with it. When you have a huge surge of anything, you try and go against it, or even it literally destroys you. But if you actually allow yourself to just be, you can actually surf that surge in that force. So there's a life force surge that we are experiencing. And the next 2.5 months or so are all about this germination energy, and then the sapling starts to grow, and then from that point on it really is all about blossoming. So just wanted to share that. And you talked about vibrations. I always say to people, it really is only the vibration game. That's the only game that is for real. We are all vibrations, and we have to be, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here. The earth is moving at such a fast pace. So whether or not you understand anything that people might say is woo-woo, then it just from a practical standpoint, it's just so, it just has to be, and you can scientifically prove it. Now, given that everything is a vibration, every vibration has a frequency. And there is a very clear rule, scientific rule around frequency, which is only when there's a frequency match, then something clicks. And similarly, in the context of vibrations, since you brought it up, it's a great way to start our show today, and it's a great way to begin with, what I'm here to bring forth. Guys, I went through an epiphany in 2010 and realized that nothing made sense. I had really more than achieved several times over what we used to be trained in the competitive world about setting goals and achieving. I'd done that many times over. I also had catastrophic collapses and risen out of it. So I just knew I had the capacity to phoenix out of anything. All of that was there, and yet there was this unexplainable hollowness that I couldn't figure out. And one thing led to another. I had a health crisis, and that led me to Bali. And I chose in my time in Bali, where it just so happened that I was the only guest for 2 out of the 3 weeks that I was there in this resort, and all these beautiful Balinese people were serving me. Initially it was like I had no choice but to open myself up to allow them to serve me, because they would get so upset if I said no. And really what I was doing, the universe was working so brilliantly because I'd made the choice for myself to do something for myself. I thought I was going away on a retreat, holiday. And actually I was telling the universe, I'm choosing me this time, And then lo and behold, the universe started supporting me in a whole variety of ways to uplift my vibrations. There was no room for my vibrations to be uplifted because they were so entangled in the minutia of just my mind games, if you like, about what I thought was real. It was time for me to really dive into what really was real. And lo and behold, I arrive in this resort, and 2 out of the 3 weeks, I'm the only guest, and all these Balinese people are serving me. I had to open myself up to the vibration of allowing. And when I allowed myself to receive and I started accepting what was being given to me, there was such gratitude. And that started becoming my primary vibration. And of course, there's a huge upliftment that takes place when that occurs. And literally something started opening up. I went from someone who wrote cryptic messages, curt cryptic messages, to someone who started writing. And I was writing this beautiful stuff, which I never thought about. Like consciously, I didn't think about it, but obviously it was all there. We are all born with our own innate wisdom that has been amassed through the journeys of our soul. And that's literally because I allowed myself. Then I allowed myself to receive this wisdom. And then I started accepting what I was writing. I started implementing that. And that led to really me getting comfortable with being present to my presence in this as a whole human being that is connected not just within myself, but with every living thing and nature itself. And then the writing shifted, and I would like literally look out of the window, and the rice fields would come up with this beautiful poetry that I would just write. And the roosters in the morning that happens in Bali, I would receive these amazing, profound guidances. And I really started seeing this whole thing about vibration and your point about once you get that, we are all vibration, everything is alive. This computer is alive. This wire that is charging my computer is alive because these are all vibrations. Everything is moving. And given that that is the case, we are all one. There is no separation. And we can choose to think equal and actually really know the uniqueness that each one of us brings. This age that we are in is the age of collaborative co-creation. It is the age where when we use the word command, the command is the intention of the calling of our soul delivered with humility. And that is what gives us the command of our own presence. And then we can go out and really, share it with people. And that's really what started happening to me. I became clear that I was ready to come out into the world, and this time living the calling of my soul. And the calling of my soul, which, if I had intellectually tried to figure out, I didn't even know what a soul was, let alone think about calling on the soul or anything like that. Being in this state of allowing, it literally just dropped in, which is, to connect humans and humanity to the miracle that they are. And a miracle being where something beautiful occurs that makes your heart sing. And the fact that our heart is beating, that is the song of the heart. The miracle is here. It's just a matter of making that connection. We don't even have to look. It's just here. The fact that the heart is beating. And then when I started working with that, I thought, wow, I have my eyes and I have a miracle lens. And I can choose to look from my eyes and interpret with my mind, or I can choose to have the miracle lens active all the time. And when you use the miracle lens, you start to see that the miracle is, the fabric of this tunic that I'm wearing, the fact that we are able to communicate and talk and connect across 3 different countries, the fact that we've got language that is enabling us to, understand each other, and the background that is there right behind you, Sunny, all of those things make my heart sing. Right?
It's so beautiful.
I started becoming aware of how much aliveness there is. Life is just an organism that's breathing. What really makes a difference is how we choose to come alive. And when we step into the moment and we get into this miracle vibration, boom, voila, there is nothing else that can happen but aliveness. Because in the moment, there is no past, there is no future, there is only what is. And what is what makes a heart sing. And then, yes. So that was like the way I started my journey. And I was shown that a palace of extraordinary miracles is to bring it forth. And that became very aware of, we talk about well-being, we talk about wellness. And it's important for it to be a full spectrum solution where you're thriving on all cylinders, physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual, and environmental. And when I started implementing that, with groups of people in locations, I realized that we were making a difference. The world is rising in consciousness. All of that is there. But there's something that actually interferes with it being sustainable. And it was in the quest of finding what's at the root that is preventing good works to be sustainable is where the whole dignity piece dropped in. If dignity is compromised or is missing or ignored, then even sustainability is not sustainable. We see the human violations of dignity. We see the violations against animal. But what about nature? A tree has value once it is chopped. In the forest, it has no value. In this focus on economy, we chose that to be the case. That when something becomes an asset on your balance sheet, it has value. So lo and behold, forests got chopped. And we are all affected by the climate change situation, and economic resources are having to be directed towards that. So it was like just so clear to me when this thing landed. It was like beyond aha, beyond light bulb moment. It was like so simple and yet really profound. And it was like, okay, if we are to transform this beautiful palace, which starts from our body all the way to our planet Earth and beyond, into a palace of extraordinary miracles, and we wish to do that sustainably, this dignity piece has to be brought back into the foundation.
Amen.
Absolutely.
So I have one question for you, and I know I can feel. Actually, Angel, do you want to go first? I feel you have a question.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing the story. It's a beautiful story. I have to confess that right before we started our call, I always just make sure that I intend for our show. Every time before we get all live, I just make sure I do a short intention about being able to be the conduit of Sunny and the guest, just being there for them and being able to help them show their greatness to the world. I had chills today, really strong chills, which is for me is a very profound sign. So it means that that definitely great things are happening here among us, and great things are going to happen in our respective lives and with what Moni is doing. So this is incredible. So thank you for being with us. But the question is, as I was reflecting on the word dignity, dignity is a very strong word. And first of all, I think that, as I said with the vibration before, I think dignity is a word that is not properly used. I don't think it's properly used. Second, I think dignity a lot of times is a word that is used maybe with some negative connotations behind it. I have my own dignity, and there's some negative vibration behind it, when dignity is a huge, marvelous word with obviously, you mentioned a few examples. So I would like to actually, just because obviously you have thought about it much more than us, how should we consider dignity? How should we think about and go about dignity? So it is probably right the opposite that what we have been taught and the way that we have been using it.
Yes, that's a very, very good question. And it took me a while. I mean, I allow myself to be in tune with spirit. And spirit usually just communicates through me. The word dignity came in from there. And of course, when I look at it and say, okay, what does this mean? And my mind comes in, which has been informed by this world, right? So I go into a similar space like what you're asking. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to try and define it right now. I'm just going to see what is it I'm going to get spirit to show me in my journey what this actually means. And I was like guided to go to various places, and I went to the Himalayas and the deserts of Rajasthan and all sorts of interesting places in search for what does dignity actually mean. And really what I got was finally, and this is how I'm defining dignity, and each one of us will have our own definition, but this is how I'm defining it, which is it really is a connection to our own worthiness. And from that space, coming out and relating to others and to nature itself and all living beings. The dignity begins with me. It's something we are born with. It's something that is innate. We never lose it. It's there. We ignore it. We might forget it. And dignity is not the same as respect. Respect you earn. There is nothing to be earned. We are born with dignity. It's there. It's a gift. We come bearing our own gifts, and dignity is one of the gifts that we come in with. And it's like in a black box, does not get destroyed at all, and it's just a matter of re-remembering. So that's how I define dignity. It would be good to hear what you think.
I mean, I have not, as I said before, dignity, it comes very often with respect. It comes with value. I love the definition. I love worthiness because, as you said, it's something that nobody can take away from us. It's just something that we have inside. But I think that there has to be a work done, like we have an exposure, and we are public figures, right? Because we are always exposed to media and to people. I think what we have to help people find that worthiness, that self-worthiness, and use this word of dignity. And actually, Sunny was she's such a creative human being that she proposed that we call January the month of dignity here. And I think that's a great idea, amazing idea, because we can contribute to do just exactly what we were saying right now. So again, we're so surrounded by fear, that reminding everybody about their dignity from a positive perspective, right? From a positive perspective, I think that's very important. The positive value of worthiness. It's positive. It's not my worthiness against someone else's worthiness. That's right. Because it's a very strong message.
May I?
Of course.
What came to my mind when you were speaking about what is dignity, I think of, sort of the most ancient peoples and where that actually comes from, where we can see it in action. And I think of the Bushmen, for example, and how the dignity, I so appreciate, Mynoo, you saying that it is something that we're born with, and it's different than respect, which is something that one may earn or not. But dignity for everything, for the water, for the trees, for the piece of fruit, for the earth underneath us, for each other, for the processes, dignity for our processes, dignity for birth, for death, for giving childbirth, for any of the processes of life that we move through, to feel the dignity in all of that all the time. The trees losing their leaves, getting their leaves, having fruit grow, the animals doing what they're doing, to really know that there is, it's just sort of the closest thing to God we can see as we're here. Manifesting. And I feel like the words that we use are so important. I play with words all the time, and I feel like it does change our vibration, even in speaking certain words and saying, maybe putting the word dignity into our meditations in the morning, in our writings, to remind ourselves. Because when we say to ourselves, even in this conversation, we're talking about dignity, and it's raising my vibration, I think, just reminding myself of my own dignity, my own kind of place in the world, and reminding me to be honoring of myself and of you guys and of everything around me. So that's what I just wanted to say about it.
Thank you. One of the things that we did, again, I received the vision of, okay, dignity is a serious issue, and it's really, this whole issue of people, of dignity being ignored applies across the board. So then the question was, okay, what is mine to do? What is ours to do in the context of the Palace of Extraordinary Miracles? And I was clear that it wasn't about setting up yet another project that is, working on the grassroots. It's really about honoring, showcasing, and amplifying solutions that have been developed and are being delivered by organizations and people all around the world, many of them people aren't even aware of, in the context of dignity. And then that led to an understanding that really what we're doing here is creating a movement. And when you create a movement, the first step is to achieve a paradigm shift. So people really start to see that, okay, there is something to be done here in the context of dignity. So there's a paradigm shift, and as the paradigm shift starts to begin, then you raise awareness and advocacy happens and implementation takes place. So we really understood, okay, we are creating a movement here, and we're going to begin with this whole paradigm shift and awareness and advocacy. And that led us to, okay, it's time to create what we are calling a dignity declaration. Like every country, when it's independence, there's a declaration of independence. This is the declaration, a dignity declaration that really is at the core of self-liberation, really. And I'd love to share the dignity declaration, since this is your month of dignity. We would love for people, the listeners, as well as the people who are doing the shows, come forth and sign the dignity declaration. The dignity declaration that we have arrived at is to honor, build, and nurture dignity in self, in communities, with all living things, and the environment we co-inhabit together, with kindness and cooperation for a peaceful, abundant, and sustainable world. That's the
Okay.
overarching
I will sign it.
Great. Having arrived at the declaration, I took it to various people, and including people we call as solutionaries, and you only well know what that means. We started, the whole idea of the World Dignity Forum as a forum that brings together these solutionaries, a place where solutionaries gather, came about. And then I saw that, okay, the World Dignity Forum, happening in a particular place, and there's some social media, so there'll be some amplification of it. That is all great. Solutions will be amplified. That's all great. But what can a little child in a remote village in Rajasthan do? What can his old grandfather, who doesn't speak English or anything like that, do? What can a child soldier in Sudan do? That would be a solution for him or her, right? So then we looked at, okay, it's time to also introduce this idea of a dignity pledge that anybody anywhere in the world can do without any dependence on anybody else. They can do it for themselves, and it can translate into all forms of languages. So we arrived at a dignity pledge, which is that I take the pledge to do at least one act of kindness every day, to honor, build, and nurture dignity, starting with myself. For dignity begins with. You can just imagine the magic of that, right? Talking about chills, right? I'm getting them now. This isn't a statement. This is actually doing one act of kindness for yourself every day. And what I've seen, in putting together the solutionaries, I had to arrive at what are the big issues that we are to bring forth when we inaugurate the World Dignity Forum, because that's where we're putting our stake in the ground. It's a foundational gathering. It's happening in 2019, the year of germination and blossoming. What stake gets put on the ground is what's going to determine the blossoming and the blossoms that are going to emerge. So as I started looking at what are the issues and how we bring those together, I started seeing that in the solution, the positive thing and the exciting thing was there is so much engagement in solutions around the world. People aren't necessarily relating it to dignity, but when I go into it, I see it and I bring it forth. And for me, it was like, okay, this time it isn't just going to be humanitarian. It is going to include humanitarian stuff. It isn't only about animals. It is going to include that. It also is going to include mainstream economic stuff, as well as all the myriad of issues we are dealing with, environment. Everything goes out of the window with an existential threats. So we can't ignore that. We can't just be in a la la land about this. We have to bring the existential threats just as strong as all of these other powerful positive things. The existential threats are things like what's going on with the rise of the ocean levels, the carbon in the atmosphere. And another existential threat often is a threat that we have to our health. When there's a health crisis at an individual level, suddenly everything like just goes off, and people just start grappling with it, including their loved ones. And then I looked at, well, what is the shape of the solutions that we are bringing together to be presented? How do we assess whether the solution is to be presented? It has to be full spectrum solution, where as a result of this, people are thriving physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally. Mm-hmm. That was amazing, just to get that lens and parameters to then evaluate. I didn't know whether I would find any solution that did that. I just knew I was guided to find those kind of solutions. And from there have been some pretty heart-wrenching situations that so many of us have stepped forward and supported in our different ways, from human trafficking to, people becoming refugees because of climate issues, a whole variety of things. What I found was, in amongst all of this, there is a desire and a conscious awareness that has arisen, even in the most unlikely suspects. And when they are presented with solutions where not only is a woman or a child brought into a safe home, they actually are made valuable members of society and become great leaders, having experienced trafficking, having experienced being pushed and sent to lay down mines in the wars and stuff. There are people who are creating these solutions that really are creating these full, whole and complete human beings, and bringing all of these together under one roof, with dignity as an intention being held as the string that strings these pearls together, is just extremely, it's been such a joy doing it. What I felt was also that we have to appeal to the intellect. We have to achieve the opening of the heart, and we have to establish a connection to our inner wisdom with everybody that is involved, directly or indirectly. The inner wisdom, which is the wisdom that is gathered from our journeys of our soul, is held in our gut. So for that, it was important to dig out indigenous wisdom, ancient prophecies that were there, and really bring them all together to coexist, not just opening and closing, but actually be a part of, the panel discussions with the indigenous solutions being the actual solutions. So that's what started to occur. It's quite magical what is happening. I feel so blessed. When you were there, Sunny, 2 years ago, when it was just a gem of an idea, right?
Yes, yes. Well, I want to clarify for people watching what's actually happening. So this is everything that Mynoo is speaking about, and everything we're talking about as far as activating this in 2019 will be actually happening here in LA from February 8th to 10th in this really cool place, this dome downtown LA. And again, I love even where it's going to be, because it's sort of in the middle of not the most precious area of LA. It's a more challenged part of LA, which is what I love about you doing it there. And it's this really cool, groovy dome where things will be reflected on inside the dome, and it's going to be really amazing. So, and you're inviting a lot of guests who are flying in from all over the world to be guests on the panel and be speaking and all of that. So it's really going to be a happening. And then people can also live stream, right? So people listening and watching right now can participate. So I want to just talk, because I know Angel's going to say we have like 7 more minutes, so I want to make sure we get that in.
Absolutely, it will be live streamed, and we'd be very happy to have as many of you as possible as guests. And really,
by the way, we haven't really said, I want to make sure we say it's called the World Dignity Forum. I don't know if we've actually gotten that out yet.
No, we haven't. Go ahead, Sunny.
Go ahead, Mynoo. I just want to make sure people know what we're talking about.
Yes. So you can go on, worlddignityforum.org and have a look at the lineup of people that are there. We have a special code, which would be a guest code for those listeners of Mindalia TV. So if you want to come in and participate, you just use the code WDF333, which is a master number which says ascended masters are surrounding us. But what it does is it allows you to participate in the World Dignity Forum at 333 as opposed to the 750, which is what everybody else is purchasing. So this is a gift to all of the listeners of Mindalia TV. We would love it if you have solutions. It's a place where there are meaningful conversations that will take place. People are flying in from India, from Ecuador, from New Zealand, several
Germany,
absolutely. India, of course. We have one of the guys who's coming in from India. He actually has created a river in Rajasthan, which is the desert of India. And the water tables that were like 450 feet have risen to 15 feet. And as a result of this, like 80 villages that were in abject exporting fruits and vegetables every single day, 235 truckloads of those. Just phenomenal what's occurred. And it wasn't like a Jesus miracle. It really was applying ancient wisdom in practical times and working collaboratively with the community. And talking about full spectrum, there's like a tiger reserve next to this place, which had no tigers. It now has 14. And this has happened in the last 9 years itself. There are 14 active tigers, and it's growing. It's quite amazing what's possible when we as human beings really connect to the vibration of who we are. And the vibration of who we are as human beings is love. Love isn't outside of us. It isn't inside of us. We are love. That's all. So when you choose to just be, you be love. Yes. And that is the highest frequencies. And that's where you can begin with dignity and doing, an act of kindness for yourself. Dignity does begin with me.
So
it's an open to all of you to join me in this movement.
I was going to ask you, so what can people that are going to be attending, what can they expect? What can they expect for or by attending to the World Dignity Forum this year?
Yes. So it is our inauguration. So we have a really powerful, putting the stake in the ground. We have a Bhakti choir that we have planned. We've got the indigenous elders. They're bringing in the eagle hoop blessing, which is a hoop of life, which is really called the hoop of we, where the me is honored. It's so unusual. It's like, having one of our deities from ancient temples traveling. So that's actually going to be there. In addition to that, we have speakers such as, Goldie Hawn, Michael Bernard Beckwith, leading us in the whole visioning process. People can listen to, they can interact with, they can mingle with. There are 5 domes we are using. We will be using the whole geodesic dome experience, where you will be immersed in, from time to time with imagery and music that literally penetrates your cells. So there's going to be deep healing, deep, phenomenal expansion, solid grounding that will take place. We've got sessions which are it's not panel after panel after panel. Some are panels, some are just interactive. The whole health section is each of the people that is coming in on the health piece is inviting the audience to actually experience what they're offering. So that's there. We have the concert, the medicine concert by Michel Pascal.
Our good friend here at Mindalia TV. We love him.
He's doing his whole concert there. The indigenous elders that are coming are bringing in their various instruments and drums. So all of that will be there. There are certain new technologies that we will be sharing as well. There are various delegations that are coming from different parts of the world that would be great to interact with. There are more than 70 solutions that are being presented, and it's an invitation for people. It's going to be an immersion in the Dignity Declaration in action and complete immersion in moment by moment, implementing the Dignity Pledge for yourself.
If people want, if some people are obviously listening to this and watching you, or watching your passion, your energy, your vibration, they want to be there. They want to be part of this. They want to be in the inauguration. They want to be able to showcase their, what they're doing in the world today. What should they do, Mynoo?
They should contact me, straight away. So if you go on the World Dignity Forum website, there is a contact us. Just contact me at worlddignityforum.org. Just contact me there. That would be the best thing to do. Because this is all about showcase. And remember, this is not just a one-off event. This is the inauguration of something that is just like Davos, the World Economic Forum happens each year. This is going to continue each year. It's time to bring dignity from fringe to mainstream to even center stage, and that's what this is doing. So there's programmed and programming both online as well as on land that will be happening throughout the year as well. So, I'm really, really interested. If you have something to showcase, something to offer, please get in touch with me. People that you see that are going to be there, you wish to connect, get in touch with us. We are going to do this together. This is way beyond any of us, and it is for everyone and everything.
Well, I'm so happy that you're stepping into this, Mynoo, because I know, again, this has been something that, again, these germinations take a while to plant and grow, and many this actually, Angel, was going to take place in India originally, and so there were some that sounded amazing to everyone, and that was the plan until it wasn't the plan. So now the plan is to be in LA, and you know what? So much comes to LA. There's just something about the LA situation. It's a bit of a hub, I guess, still. And so many, many people and many energies will be here. And again, people can participate by live streaming. And there will be entertainment too. I know you're doing some movies and things like that. So it'll be a lot of interaction, and it'll be entertainment, and it'll be just good food and good people and good vibrations, and it's going to be it's never happened before. So Angel, we're going to find out what's going to happen.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the cool part. So people can be
here, Angel.
Oh.
Thank you. No, thank you very much. Actually, I was immediately going into my mind and because this particular weekend, there's a few things happening here in Dallas. There's actually friends coming from Latin America here that weekend. There's the co-founder of Wisdom for Kids, which is my charity, is coming here. So there's a few things going. But I was thinking, how can I be there? How can I be there with Sunny? How can I be there with Mynoo? And we can talk offline about Wisdom for Kids. Sunny has heard me talk about how we help kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using the local resources. But I was going to ask you, obviously, I listen to everything extremely. I'm very present on the interviews, and obviously when you mentioned where you were coming from, and when Sunny was describing what you were doing before doing this, it was just impressive. So for someone like a doer, someone that executes, that the master of miracle creation like you, what's the number one challenge that you have faced to take this to where it is today?
The number one challenge I've faced is, the challenge of it's cool to be cynical about life. There's a lot of cynicism there as well, and so that was the challenge when people would get really drawn to it, and then they would go into, oh yes, but this is happening and that's happening and that's happening. How are you going to make any difference to any of that? Listen, all of that is true. Yes, there's lots of stuff that is not very palatable happening, and somebody has to stop jumping and being reactive. So let's start a new form of activism, which is by showcasing what's so and what's really magical that is going on. Then some people have to be reactive, but I don't have to do that. This movement isn't about that. So that was the challenge that had to be addressed. And the thing, Angel, that I've learned, the key is implementation. The key is implementation. And implementation whilst holding on to the big vision and not compromising on this. So at every stage, I had my own way of checking in, that I'm not implementing something just to react or to satisfy somebody's cynicism. It was like I would just lovingly accept wherever they were at and return to what I was called to do. So, that was the biggest challenge that was there. And there is the challenge of money as well, in terms of how money it flows into projects that are there for good. We had lots of stop starts on that front as well. And I'm very conscious that when you take on a project that has got such a high vibration, then a vibration of money that is coming to it has to match it. Mm-hmm. So even though we had commitments, the moment it came to actually turning it into cash flow, if the vibration didn't match, something or the other would come up and it would occur. Mm-hmm. And in that situation, the challenge was we have to keep going. It will come. It'll come. And awesome. This vibration has to be germinated with this project has to be germinated at the right vibrational frequency. It's happening in LA, and hence we are here.
This is lovely. Thank you. As Sunny said, yeah, we have to wrap it up because we are almost at the top of the hour again. So could you repeat again, please, Mynoo, where can we find you?
Yes. So go to worlddignityforum.org. And you can see what's happening on the World Dignity Forum front there. Contact us if you have anything that you would like to contact us about. Otherwise, just go ahead there, register, use your gift coupon of WDF333. Go ahead and do that. If you would like to volunteer, get in touch with me also by contacting us and saying you wish to volunteer, and we will take it forward from there. Mynoo Maryel, which is my name and my website, it has a whole host of meditations, which also I would love to share with Mindalia TV. They're completely free of charge. And it's my website, which I guess you can, should I spell it out, Angel?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so it is MynooMaryel, MynooMaryel.com. You can go in there. You'll have lots of material that will help you in your day-to-day life, making that one that's rich in miracles.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Sunny, where can we find you?
You can find me here next Thursday. You can find me on ABC Solutionary Sundays on Sunday at 9 o'clock in LA. You can find me also you can contact me with any questions and anything that comes up from the show if you want to get to meet, of course, Mindalia TV and me at sunny@let'simagine.live and in Whole Lifetimes magazine. All around there, you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sunny, as well, for not only finding but also bringing this incredible human being called Mynoo here today. So it's been beautiful to hear everything that she does, that you do, Mynoo, and that you're going to do, because this is only starting. This is only starting. Let's not forget that. This is only starting. So consider this your home. Thank you for being with us today. And again, this is Angel Rebo with Mindalia TV. Thank you very much to everybody for being with us today. Thank you again, Sunny. Thank you, Mynoo. And Sunny, see you again next Thursday. All the best for the World Dignity Forum. It's going to be an amazing success, and it's just the igniter of tons of them all over the place. So I can feel that already. So thank you very much, everybody here. See you again next week with another show with Sunny. Hope you have a great day today, and hope to see you soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.